With the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Josh Bryant, followed by an invocation by Cindy Brettschneider. If you would all join us, please.
All right. Flag's in a different spot. We just turn around and go this way. All right, if you would, please place your hand over your heart and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is this on for me to use? Okay. I wanted to start with a scripture this evening from 1 Samuel 2:2. There is no one holy like the Lord, no one besides you. There is no rock like our God. Will you pray with me, please? Lord, we are grateful to be in this place, even though it meant a lot of transition for the city workers. Lord, I just continue to pray for them as they are in this place and waiting for the city hall to be renovated and changed and made new. And Lord, I just ask your blessing on this time as there is much planning and much going on in this city. And Lord, you are the one who leads all decisions. So I ask you to be with each of the decision makers in those decisions. And Lord, to be with this community through all it's going through transition-wise in businesses and jobs and even in the homeless, Lord. Just be with this community. Be the rock that we can stand on and near. Keep us secure and safe. And I just ask your blessing. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Knorr.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Here.
Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Edlund.
Here.
And Councilmember Whiting.
Here.
All right. First item on this evening's agenda is citizens request public comments. This is the time and the place for the general public to address the City Council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit your comments to 5 minutes. I don't have the list.
We're going to get it for you right now.
Okay. I have a good idea, however. All right, thank you very much, Doug. All right. Ron Angel, pastor, chaplain, is going to speak to us regarding In God We Trust. If you would, please, sir.
Honorable Mayor, council members. Do I need this? Yes? Yes, I do. In God we trust, our national motto. It is on our money, and it's my hope and prayer that it will be on every police car and emergency vehicle across this great country. Delano has approved it. Bakersfield has approved it. Shafter has approved it. And our own Sheriff, Donnie Youngblood, has given the okay for it as well. There are over 700 cities and counties across this United States that have already approved In God We Trust in their city chambers. And over 300 agencies, police agencies that have already approved the decal for their police cars. Bakersfield was the founding city for In God We Trust by Jackie Sullivan, one of the longest serving city council members here. And I've been working with her for the last 7 years regarding In God We Trust, volunteering for her. And as I left some paperwork for you, there were 3 things in my proposal there. Number 1, lays out kind of a short history of how this came to be. And number 2, it deals with the constitutionality of the In God We Trust, because there have been challenges to it. but none, all have failed. And the third one is some comment from Don Clark, who used to be the anchor here in town in Bakersfield. And he wanted to share some words as well, but he couldn't be here today. So in God we trust, as I said, is our national motto. We have many supporters. I'm just going to name a few of the elected officials who have joined us. Vince Vaughn, Senator, has joined us and given us full support to In God We Trust. Cynthia Zimmer, our Kern County District Attorney, has joined us and gave full support. Shannon Grove, our state senator, has given us full support. As a matter of fact, she told me during one of our banquets, she said, whenever you get up and speak, make sure you tell people I'm for this. And you know, if Shannon Grove tells you to do something, let's do it. And so she has given her full support and recommendations. And lastly, but certainly not least, Kevin McCarthy, speaking with him numerous times, he has given his full support for the national model. There are three reasons why I'm doing this. Three reasons. Number one, to encourage patriotism. And in a time like this, don't we need to encourage patriotism, which I believe brings unity and loyalty. This is a great country. We have a lot of blessings, but we still need to encourage patriotism. I noticed as you opened the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, the one we had. I'm a police chaplain for the last 20 years, and I've done a number of police funerals. And every funeral, the flag is laid there. And the part that just grabs my heart is when they hand that flag to them. There is nothing more gripping than that. This is why I do this, because patriotism matters. People are putting their lives on the line for us every day. Our first responders and our police officers and our sheriffs, they are our present-day heroes. This is why I'm doing it. And number three, to remind us of the guiding principle that leads this land. I was looking at a speech that Kennedy gave a little while ago, and he quoted George Washington, our first president. He said this: "Let us go forth to lead this land that we love," joining in the prayer of George Washington in 1763. And this is what he said: "That God would have you in his holy protection, that he would most graciously be pleased to dispose us all to do justice and love mercy, and to demean ourselves with the characteristics of the divine author of our blessed religion, without and humble imitation of those examples, we can never be a happy nation." And goes on to say this: "The guiding principle in prayer of this nation has been, is now, and shall ever be," George Washington said, "in God we trust." You go back and look at that entire speech, it gives you chills to know he said there were two things. And I'm just going to paraphrase them, but there were two things that built this country, men and women. One, on religious conviction. And two, that freedom would be a place that would allow that religious conviction. And so those two things go together there in that sense. So In God We Trust is our nation's motto, and that is what drives me to speak with city councils all across this state, and hopefully all across this country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Reverend Angelo Frazier. I actually spent an evening with him in Bakersfield not too long ago at the In God We Trust dinner. It was a marvelous thing. Thanks for coming before the council, sir. All right, next up, council statements. Item number 2, council statements, non-action. Councilman Evelyn.
As you know, we throughout recent times now, we've adopted or are about to adopt the In God We Trust on our individual patrol cars as the Sheriff's Department. I work for the Sheriff's Department in Casement. I would say that I personally would never have opposition to that, and I think the Reverend, thank you very much for coming today. I think it's a very good, that was a very good speech and very compelling, and that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Councilman Bryant.
Well, it's really hard to do anything besides say ditto to that. I would concur wholeheartedly. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Councilman Whiting.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No comments.
All right. Mayor Pro Tem Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor Knorr, and thank you, Pastor Angelo Frazier, for coming here and again, it's inspirational to about "In God We Trust." It's important in our country. You know, our motto here. It's on our city seal, and it's on and the money that we have. And you hear a lot of different negatives, back and forth. But 85% of the citizens in Taft, what I understand, is in support of "In God We Trust." There's only a small minority against it, and a lot of it is they think, separation of church and state. It doesn't have to do with anything at all. It's all about our history and our national motto. And I'm definitely highly motivated in getting in our police cars and our fire trucks. Now school started, so we all got to be careful with the kids out there. Stop walks are in the mornings and in the afternoons. They get out of classes because a lot of times they're on their cell phones with their new boyfriends or new girlfriends, so they're all got their minds all cleared up on that deal and then homework. So watch out for them when they get off school and going to school. So we got to take care and be extra cautious with the children out there. And that's all I have to say, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Actually, Reverend Angelo Frazier referenced the fact that when Shannon Grove tells you to do something, you typically do it. Shannon Grove and I are very good friends, and we've worked together for a very long time, and she is a committed Christian and a patriot and a veteran. I recently was fortunate enough to celebrate my 60th birthday with my family, and we were in Las Vegas, my family members from all over the country. And it was, it was a Monday evening. I got a text from Shannon Grove's office. And it said, we have a meeting with the governor's office tomorrow at 2:30 in Sacramento. We need you there. I was in Las Vegas with my family. So I went to dinner with my family that night, and I told them that our plans had changed. And the next morning, my wife and I in our vehicle, my son and his wife in their vehicle, we left Las Vegas at 3:45 a.m., drove to Taft. I showered and changed in the appropriate clothing, drove to Sacramento, spent 2 hours up there meeting with Shannon in the governor's office regarding the oil and gas industry and what's going on. And then drove home from Sacramento. That was a long driving day, about 15 hours on the road. So I understand just exactly what you're saying. I hope it was fruitful. I will tell everybody in this community that we have a hard road ahead of us to help people truly understand what is going on, the benefits of our industry, for even those that would doubt. They benefit from it day in and day out every day, and to help them understand the realities of it, it's tough, and it's going to take a great deal of work, and Shannon Grove is a great ally, and we will continue to work towards that goal. I continue to provide information to Shannon, and it goes to the governor, and we'll see just exactly how beneficial it all is. But information is a wonderful thing. Ignorance is not evil. It just means people haven't been exposed to the facts. And so if we can dig up the facts and expose them in such a manner as people understand the reality, then we can make informed decisions instead of decisions based on, like in the video, emotion and ignorance.
Right.
So that is what we will continue to try to do. Beyond this, I happen to have one of these in my wife's vehicle. I love our flag. I love our country. And God We Trust is our national motto. And this council is considering that issue, as you very well know, and we will move forward with that. Another issue, you brought it up. It's school time. Kids are out. I was coming through Taft just the other day, and I thought I was paying attention. I was paying attention. We've got those big, beautiful, bright green signs at the crosswalks where we don't have stop sign. And all of a sudden, somebody stepped out in the crosswalk, and I stopped. I stopped quickly because the lights weren't flashing. And this individual just jumped out of the crosswalk and walked across the street. And I thought, well, that's no good. The lights aren't working. So once the individual crossed the street, I parked right there at what used to be Ollie's, got out of my vehicle and walked over and stood on the corner, and cars were coming, and I pushed the button. And the lights started blinking, and everybody stopped. And I walked across the street and stood on the other corner. And then once I got across, everybody went on about what they were doing. And I waited there for a couple of minutes, and then I pushed the button again to go back to my truck, and everybody stopped. It was absolutely amazing. And I crossed the crosswalk. I've had to do that 2 times in the last week because people will stand there and wait next to the button, standing right next to the button. So, hey everybody, there's a button right there. And on the button there's instructions that say, please push the button. It's very effective. It's amazingly effective when those bright LED lights are flashing. Catches everybody's attention. Heaven forbid somebody not take advantage of the technology that we have put there for everyone's safety, and they step out in that crosswalk and somebody gets injured. So here's my message, and I hope to tell the teachers and anybody and everybody, push the button. It has an amazing effect. So that's it. I won't go on any further. That's my message tonight. Push the button. Thank you all for your cooperation. It is your own life you will save. All right. Thank you, sir. Moving on. Planning Commission reports. Item number 3.
Okay, right? Good. Jerry Livingston, Planning Commissioner, here with our monthly report. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. We're beginning some new zoning code updates. As you guys have been aware, over the last couple of years, we've been sending them up to you on a regular basis. So we've started now reviewing our alcohol ordinance, specifically dealing with conditional use permits. Taft is unique in that almost all of the places where you will either go to a restaurant or go to a for sale service are in the center portion of the town. And so we have a high concentration of alcohol licenses, higher than is expected under normal conditions. And so we're going to be reviewing the code section first to probably get rid of all the exceptions that have been in it over the years, because at this point it needs to be reviewed every time it comes up. The police department needs to be able to see what's happening, and then the Planning Commission get a chance to take a look at it before we approve either a new permit or the transfer of a permit, given the high concentration. So that was the first item. That was just a review. It'll be back sometime, I don't know, probably in the next 2 or 3 months, and then to you folks. And the other one is, again, we're beginning a review of other items that the zoning code might need amending. When you adopted the general plan, you adopted a series of goals, and some of those goals include potential changes or amendments to the zoning code. And so we'll begin reviewing whether it's land use or circulation element, economic development, those kind of things. We'll begin reviewing those over the course of probably more than this year, but at least over this year, to look at other places where we can make the zoning code a more usable, more user-friendly if necessary, and also to try and achieve the goals that we've set for this community in terms of development over the next 10 to 15 years. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for the report. Appreciate that. Next up, item number 4, department reports. We have any department reports this evening? Seeing none. Item number 5, city manager statement. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no reports tonight.
No report. All right. City attorney statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No statement.
All right. Thank you, sir. Item number 7, future agenda requests. Do we have any future agenda requests this evening?
I don't call it an agenda request, but I'd like to know where we're at on this. We're in God We Trust. Where we're at on there. We're going to be in the next council meeting or the following.
The last time the council discussed this, we actually gave staff direction to look into this. We were watching to see how other agencies and municipalities were dealing with this, but also in the midst of all of that, we kind of had to shut down City Hall and relocate City Hall. So I will tell you that it got pushed back a little bit because staff's been working overtime just trying to create an environment whereby we can continue with city business during this course of transition. I would have to guess that this would be coming back before the council on the next agenda or the following, within the next couple of agendas. Is that a request that you're making, sir?
That's correct.
All right. So we have a request. Do we have a concurrence on that?
I think we had concurrence the last time, but I'll concur,
Okay.
yes.
If we can't make it on the next one because of what's going on, I understand that. If 2 meetings from now, if we do have time to get things prepared and get it on the agenda, that would be a wonderful thing. All right. Thank you very much. Any others? All right. Well then, believe it or not, that is the complete regular meeting for the Taft City Council. So what I am going to do now,
No.
You have,
I missed some?
yeah, we got.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that part. You mean the consent calendar?
We just set a record.
My, did I rush through that. Thank you. Okay, consent calendar, items 8 through 14. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the City Council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? Seeing none. Consent calendar items 8 through 14 include item number 8, which is the minutes for the August 6th regular meeting. Item number 9, which is the payment of bills, some $44,000. Item number 10, ratification of contract with Abateco for abatement at City Hall. Recommendation is a motion to ratify signed abatement contract with Abateco for asbestos abatement on City Hall project. Item 11 is a memorandum of understanding with West Kern Oil Museum for placement of equipment. Recommendation, there is a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding between the City of Taft and the West Kern Oil Museum and authorize the mayor to sign. Item number 12 is a ratification of reciprocal easement agreement with covenants and restrictions. Recommendation there is a motion to ratify the approval and execution of the reciprocal easement agreement with covenants and restrictions between the City of Taft, DGCALI, LLC, and Capital Rivers Incorporated. Item 13 is the acceptance of easement dedications for the purpose of the CDBG infill sidewalk project. Recommendation is a motion to accept the easement dedications for properties receiving sidewalk through the CDBG infill sidewalk project and authorize the mayor to sign certificates of acceptance. Finally, item 14 is an MOU between the City of Taft Police Department and Kern County Sheriff's Office for the investigation of officer-involved shootings. Recommendation is a motion to approve the MOU with Kern County Sheriff's Office for investigations of officer-involved shootings and to authorize the mayor to sign. Does any council member wish to remove any of these items from the consent calendar?
Number 9.
Item number 9. Any others? All right. At this time, I would entertain a motion to approve consent calendar items 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion, a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Eveland?
Yes, with the exception of 8 and 14. 8 as minutes I wasn't here during the last meeting, and 14 could pose a conflict.
8 and 14. Okay. Councilmember Whiting?
Yes.
And Mayor Knorr?
Yes. All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is item number 9, payment of bills. City Manager Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. These are payment of bills for, I believe, it's like,
City Manager Jones, you don't have to read the whole thing. I just want to make a comment.
okay, well, there is really no staff report, but basically, I know what your comment's probably going to be is this is probably the smallest bills we've ever paid.
Exactly. Exactly. So, in all the years I've been on the council,
all I can say
Bobby,
is-
Dave, and Mayor Knorr, never seen it this low before.
We've had a payroll clerk that has left the department and expect the next payment to be a lot larger.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. At this time, then, I would entertain a motion to approve the payment of bills, item number 9.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. May we have a roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Cryer?
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant?
Yes.
Councilmember Eveland?
Yes.
Councilmember Whiting?
Yes.
And Mayor Nor.
Yes, thank you all very much. Now then, before we go into closed session, I am going to pass the gavel over to Director President Josh Bryant for the Taft Public Improvement Corporation Annual Meeting. If you would.
Thank you, sir. All right. We're going to declare open the meeting of the Taft Public Improvements Corporation. Madam Clerk, can we have roll call, please?
Yes. President Bryant.
Here.
Director Cryer.
Here.
Director Whiting.
Here.
Director Eveland.
Here.
And Director Nor.
Here.
All right. Now that everyone's here, item number 1 will be seating of the new directors. Madam Clerk?
So Ed Whiting and Jeff Eveland were elected, and Josh Bryant was reelected to the City Council of the City of Taft and were duly seated as members of the City Council in December 2019. Section 2.2 of the corporate bylaws provide, amongst other things, that A, directors shall be members of the City Council of the City of Taft. Directors shall hold office for a term that is coextensive with their respective terms as members of the City Council. Each appointed director shall hold office until the expiration of the term for which appointed or until a successor has been appointed by the city. Mr. Whiting, Mr. Eveland, and Mr. Bryant have executed the oath of office as members of the City Council and hereby declared seated as directors of the Taft Public Improvement Corporation.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. That concludes item number 1. Item number 2 will be the election of officers for this body. The recommendation is obviously threefold. First, to elect amongst us a member of us to become president of this body, and then will be the secretary's election as well as the treasurer's election or appointment. So at this time, I'll entertain motion for the position of president of the Taft Public Improvement Corporation.
Motion.
Second.
Did I say a motion? I'm sorry.
Yes.
I will accept nominations.
But you got a motion and a
Yeah,
second.
you've got a motion and a second to do it. So at this time, we'll accept nominations for the position of president of the TPIC.
If I may, sir, if I just might pose a question. Is there anybody amongst us who is really interested in taking on this position?
Too much work.
Okay, well, since nobody jumped up, you've done a stellar job thus far, sir. I would nominate Josh Bryant to continue in his capacity as president of this board.
Second.
Perfect. All right. So without any opposition, we'll accept those nominations as closed. Do we have nominations for the position of secretary, or can we have help on who is the existing secretary of this body?
Your existing secretary, I believe, is Cryer.
All right. Along the same line as Mr. Norb, Mr. Cryer, would you like to maintain your position as secretary of this body?
I'll be honored to.
Do we have any opposition here or any other interest?
No opposition.
All right. So I'll accept a motion to nominate Mr. Cryer for
I'll make
secretary of
that
this body.
motion.
We have a
And
motion
second.
Second.
and a second. All right. And item number 3, Madam Clerk, who is our treasurer?
I believe it is Mr. You know what? No, I believe it was Mr. Miller.
All right. So at this time, we'll entertain a nomination from amongst us for the position of treasurer of the TPIC.
Would either of the two new members of the council like to jump into this fracas?
Sure, I'll volunteer.
Oh, there you go.
Fantastic.
I
And
would
that's-
nominate Councilman Whiting then.
I would second that, and I would hereby declare nomination period closed. All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve myself as president, Mr. Cryer as secretary, and do we have to do them in order?
I'm sorry, can we wait one moment? I'd like to clarify something
Sure.
with the city clerk before we proceed. Thank you.
Absolutely.
They're looking at the respective pay scales of his positions. Just stand by a moment.
How many zeros go on the backside of the decimal?
That's exactly right.
Mr. Mayor, as treasurer, I can approve this.
Indeed.
We're expecting that pay increase in COLA this year.
Hopefully lump sum deal.
What is it when you add more zeros to zero?
Thank you, Mr. President.
We okay to proceed as is?
We are. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I'd entertain a motion to approve myself as president of the TPIC, Mr. Cryer as secretary of the TPIC, and Mr. Whiting as treasurer of the TPIC.
I would make that motion.
We've got a motion?
And a second.
And a second. All in favor, is this a voice vote or, okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? That passes on a 5-0 vote. All right, item number 3, citizens' request for public comments, and I'll save everybody unless we have someone here to speak. Seeing none, we're going to move on to item number 4 through 8 on the consent calendar. Again, I'll save you guys the detail. Item number 4 will be approval of the minutes from the August 21st, 2018 meeting with a recommended action to approve as submitted. Item number 5 will be to appoint the executive director and deputy secretary, with the recommended action being to approve a motion to approve the appointment of the executive director and the deputy secretary of the TPIC. Item number 6 will be Taft Public Improvement Corporation comparative analysis of changes in fund balances. The recommendation there is to accept and file that report. And item number 7 will be ratification and authorization of the actions by the officers of the TPIC. And the recommended action there is to ratify officers' actions on behalf of the TPIC for the 18-19 fiscal year and to authorize officers to perform related duties on behalf of the corporation for the upcoming 19-20 fiscal year.
Motion.
We have a motion.
And second.
And a second. Madam Clerk, may we have a roll call, please?
President Bryant,
Yes.
Director Cryer,
Yes.
Director Whiting,
Yes.
Director Eveland,
Yes.
and Director Knorr.
Yes.
All right, now that thing's done, we're going to declare this TPIC meeting closed.
All right, thank you, sir. Next up is going to be the Taft Public Financing Authority, and I'm going to turn the gavel over to Chairman Horst Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. I open this meeting for Taft Public Finance Authority Annual Meeting Agenda, August 20th, 2019. Okay, may we have roll call, Madam Clerk?
Chairman Cryer,
Here.
Director Bryant,
Here.
Director Whiting,
Here.
Director Eveland,
Here.
and Director Knorr.
Here.
Citizens' request for public comments. This is a time and place for the general public to address the authority on the matters within their control. State law prohibits the authority from addressing any issues not previously included in the agenda. Authority may receive comment and set the matter for a later meeting. Please limit comments to 5 minutes. Anybody in the audience wish to comment? Seeing none. Consent calendar items 2 through 5. All items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussions of these items unless a board member of the authority requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate actions. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after regular business items. 2, approval of minutes, June 18, 2019, regular meeting. Approve as submitted, recommendation. 3, Taft Public Financing Authority establishing meeting dates. Recommendation, motion to adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the Taft Public Finance Authority Establishing Meeting Dates." 4, comparative analysis of changes in fund balances, revenue bonds of 1998, police station redevelopment projects, revenue bonds of 2019, police station and redevelopment projects. Recommendation, motion to receive and file the Taft Public Financing Authority comparative analysis of changes in fund balances for the bonds of 1998, police station and redevelopment projects, and revenue bonds for 2019, police station and redevelopment projects. Number 5, ratification authority, authorization of actions by officers of the Taft Public Finance Authority. Recommendation to ratify officers' action on behalf of the Taft Public Financing Authority for the 2018-2019 fiscal year, authorizing the officers to perform their duties on behalf of the corporation for the upcoming 2019-2020 fiscal year.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Knorr and Whiting.
We have a motion and a second. And roll call.
Chairman Cryer,
Yes.
Director Bryant,
Yes.
Director Eveland,
Yes.
Director Knorr,
Yes.
and Director Whiting.
Yes.
Motion for adjournment?
Motion.
Second.
We're adjourned. Now you're up.
All right, thanks, sir. All right, we're going to reopen the city council meeting just long enough to close our open session. We will be going into closed session. This evening's closed session will be 3 items. Item A, conference with legal counsel, anticipated litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9B, 2 potential cases. Item B, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, Taft Union High School versus the City of Taft. And item C, conference with real property negotiator Craig Jones, City Manager, Government Code Section 54956.8, APN number 032-110-30 and 032-110-70 and 71. I want to thank you all for being a part of this evening's meeting and joining us in the beautiful El Dorado Room. Good evening.